All right. Well, my name is Joseph Arnold. I'm a violinist and Alexander Technique teacher. And welcome to the Musicians Tension Reset Lab. This is a free weekly online class for musicians who want to play longer without tension taking over. And this is a very hands-on class, so if you want to get your instrument, please do so. I'll work with a couple of you today, and if you want to do that, please find a way of turning on original sound for musicians in your
Hmm.
audio settings. Otherwise, we won't be able to hear you.
Ooh.
So let's all take a moment to do that. So you just go into audio settings, and there ought to be an option to do that, like or turning down noise cancellation to the lowest possible setting. Let's take a 30-second tech break here. Let me know.
Oh, I see it.
Good, good.
Right.
All right, good, excellent. So I think we're ready to go here. Um, Anything else for today? Yeah, so I'll give a brief overview of what we're going to study today, talk about the theme and why it's important, and then I'm going to go through the lesson itself, and this will be a participatory, hands-on kind of thing, and then we'll have plenty of time for sort of a masterclass style, where each of you can get up and play something, and I'll work with you applying the lessons from today, so you can play more freely, play like yourself again, and then at the end, I'll do a little raffle for free copy of my book. Oh, here we go. It's called Soulforce: How to Discover Your Artistic Purpose, Create More Freely, and Make Art That Matters. So one of you will get a free copy of that today. And I think that'll be it. It'll take it a little over an hour to do all this. So here we go. Today's theme is how to stop pulling the reins on yourself as you play. I'll talk about what that means here. So sometimes it can feel like you're fighting your own body when you play, and you just can't relax no matter what. And you might feel some tension here or there, and maybe you try relaxing your shoulders, but then a second later your shoulders are up again, or you're just kind of frustrated with the tension that you've been feeling, and it really can be frustrating because if you're feeling a lot of tension or injuries, like a pain or something like that, then you can't play as well as you'd like, or as long as you'd like, and maybe you're worried that you'll have to limit your playing. That certainly happened for me, and I'll tell you my story in just a minute. And to me, this is, this is just wrong, because music is supposed to feel free. There's supposed to be this outpouring from your heart into your hands or your voice. And like Kenny Werner wrote a great book about this called Effortless Mastery. Right, and that's a great concept. I have my own version called Soulforce Mastery, and maybe I'll talk about that a little bit later too. But the real problem, like, there's lots of problems sort of related underneath all of this, and the one we're going to take a look at today is about focusing too hard. And especially what happens when you do that, when you dive your head down towards your hands or the notes on the page or something like that. Oftentimes that happens. Like if you're focusing on something, you can see, like, your eyes get kind of tight and your mouth gets tight and you're like, oh, or like it's also called guitar face, where you're playing and you get this sort of scrunched face, right? And this is all part of how you focus, and all of that tension doesn't just live in your head or your face, it travels through your whole body. So we're going to experience that firsthand today. And so how did I come to have anything to say about this? Well, I've been playing violin since I was 5 years old, so that's 36 years now. And when I was in college for music, I was definitely trying way too hard all the time. And I had injuries in both arms because of it. Like tendonitis in both arms. It spread to my shoulders, my back. I could barely play anymore. And I saw all the doctors, a massage and chiropractic and neurologists, and I mean, you name it, I tried it. And none of it helped. None of it helped, other than just sort of temporarily. And reason we'll talk about this quite a bit more today. But one of the reasons for that is because tension is a habit. It's a behavior problem, not a physical structural problem. And all these therapists and doctors were trying to treat my body as if it was a structural problem, and it just wasn't. So I learned the Alexander technique. This is the thing that really opened me up to an awareness of my body, so that I could even start to feel that, oh, I'm going like this every time I pick up my violin. Like, huh, wonder what happens if I play without that. Right? And this opened up everything for me. Not just pain relief, but much more fluid technique, much more comfort and ease with the instrument, better stage presence, better musicality, better sound quality. Your instrument, we have like all strings instruments here today. Your instrument, it's a wooden bell, right? And if you clamp a bell and you try to ring it, it goes tink tink, and that's exactly what happens when you're tense. Well, that tension clamps onto your instrument, to your bow, and it dampens the vibrations. And so when you free yourself, then your instrument can vibrate so much more. It's really amazing, like how much more vibration you get, more resonance. All right, so that's a bit about my story. So the plan for today, we're going to do two kind of lenses on this: how to stop pulling on the reins of your coordination of your body. One is called open focus. Another is taking a look at this head diving habit. And the real reason why this all matters is so you can stop struggling and fighting your body, and so you can start playing freely. And this really helps connect to the reason you got into playing music in the first place. It wasn't to try hard at doing something, right? It was to play freely. So, yeah, I think that's it for the preamble here. Any questions before I start? Is this bringing it up anything for all of you? Just kind of curious to get to know you a little bit too. So feel free to unmute yourself. And what's coming up for you so far?
Am I muted?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jennifer. Go for it.
Okay, I didn't know if I was muted. Um, yeah, so I teach a lot too, and of course, I can see the tension in my kids when
Yes.
and um, and when they let go of just one thing, say like loose fingers, the sound immediately is better, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Um, I feel like that's not my issue. I feel my issue is the tightness when it's well, I guess it is. For them, technically, everything's difficult. And for me,
Yes.
only a few things are difficult. But
Yes.
when those
Yes.
things come, I too tighten up.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yes, and you're right. So for a very beginner, everything is a technical challenge. Uh, and the technical challenges are one of the primary, what I call critical moments when you get tighter than you'd like to.
Right.
And what we're going to get into today is I'll show you a very practical practice method for how to release tension in those critical moments.
In the moment.
In the moment.
Okay.
In the very
Yeah,
moment.
because you can practice a passage in all the ways you know how to practice passages,
Hmm.
rhythms,
Yes.
very slowly,
Yes.
legato,
Yes.
groups of certain notes that are
Yes.
fast, and all of that. And you feel like, okay, I did everything that I know how to do. And then in the moment, it's still like a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Really
Yes.
pisses me
Exactly.
off.
Exactly. Yes. Right. And so what you need there isn't other practice techniques where like the problem with those kinds of practice techniques that they're very effective for certain things, but the problem is that they focus on they don't actually change how you relate to the critical moment with that feeling of challenge around the whole passage. And this whole thing that I'm talking about comes down to, instead of tightening up in that critical moment, like learning how to open up and relax. And you need a different set of skills for how to do that. And that's what I teach, the skill of ease. So we'll get into this. We'll be very
Well,
practical.
it's interesting what you said. Tension is a habit. So,
Yes, it is.
yeah, so it's breaking a bad habit, basically.
That's exactly right. And you can't do something extra to break a habit, because then you're
Mhm.
just adding on top of the habit.
Okay.
Then you have two problems instead of just one.
Well, and you don't have time to do that in the
Well,
moment. You don't have
right.
time to
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. So it has to be something that you
It's a way.
refrain, you interrupt at the habit. If you can interrupt the habit, then it just doesn't start.
Hmm.
And that's really the key. Learning how to interrupt it wisely.
Thank you.
Great question. Anybody else want to offer something here before I get into the actual lesson? Okay, I'll just get into it. All right. So a couple things. We'll do a little bit with open focus and then with the head diving thing. Okay. So there's a connection between how you pay attention and how your body moves. Okay, this is very important to understand. So look at something far away from you right now. Look at something like out the window and try to notice the little details about it. Yeah, and then okay, so really, really like focus in on those little details. See if you can get every little detail visually. So then freeze, and then just notice what's happening to your body. Are you getting tighter or freer? Are your eyes getting tighter or freer? Is your neck, your back, and is your sense of space like getting smaller or bigger? What do you notice with just that?
Narrowing
Yeah, narrowing.
and
Good.
staying still.
Mm,
You
hmm.
know, because you're looking at the details, so you don't want to move too much.
Right. And when you stay still, do you get tighter or freer?
Yeah, yeah, tighter. You're holding.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. What does anybody else notice?
I don't know. For me, I felt more relaxed. I felt like everything becomes kind of a blur around and
Hmm.
it's not as, I don't know, I don't notice that it's not as important. Like I don't know. I was for me it was different.
That's why you're so good.
I kind of hypnotized a little bit.
Okay. Interesting. Everybody's different. Well, yeah, that's great. So maybe the habit isn't as strong for you. Tom, did you notice anything?
Yeah, I got tighter and I could feel it in my neck and shoulder,
Yeah.
especially the upper neck, the lower neck where it joins the shoulder, it feels tighter.
Right.
But the contrast between the two ladies that just spoke, one felt more relaxed. Reminds me of there's a famous guitar player in Irish music, Dahi Sproul from Ireland, but he lives here in the Twin Cities, Minnesota, and he's the most relaxed musician I've ever seen. And I was at a session with him once and said, Dahi, do you have any tips, for relaxation? Because I didn't have you
Hmm.
or Alexander. And he looked at me like he didn't understand the question. I mean, I think some people just
Yeah.
have it. Somehow
Yeah.
they've developed it on their own without Alexander,
Right.
but the rest of us don't. Have you experienced that? Some people are just naturally relaxed.
Well, we all have different conditioning, and, a different history, and we bring different things to the instrument, and also various experiments that we might run here are going to have different effects on different people. Um, yeah, and so some people are just sort of naturally relaxed, and that's great for them. Um, yeah, and looking back on my own injuries and all the struggle I had with tension, I can't really say that I regret it because I learned so much along the way and how to help myself and also how to help my students. And if I'd just been totally relaxed the whole time, I wouldn't have learned any of that stuff. It wouldn't have been interesting. All right. So welcome, Sarah, as well. You can just follow along here. So there's this connection then between how you pay attention and what happens in your body. If you pay attention in a really tight, narrow way, then your body gets tight and narrow. All right, so we're going to do a really brief experiment here. So uh, bring your fingers up in front of you as if you had a needle and thread. Okay? So then what you're going to do is try to thread that needle. All right, you get that itty bitty little hole inside that needle. Oh man, how are you going to get that thread in there? Okay, so notice what's happening to your sense of space. Is it getting smaller or bigger?
Taller,
Smaller, right? Okay, and then what's happening in your body, tighter or freer?
tighter. That kind of thing annoys me.
Good. So we'll do more of it then.
Well, I
Okay,
was just
so
thinking to brace my hands at a lower center of gravity.
uh huh.
so that I have more support. That's what I
Okay,
would.
well, yeah, that could be a compensation. Like if you're getting really tight, then your body doesn't work as well, and then you might need a different kind of support. So we'll try something else in just a moment here. All right, so small space, tight body. That's just what happens. All right, so then the opposite of a small space, obviously, is a big sense of space. So take a look around you, look above, look behind you, look below, either side. Hey, there's a whole big space all around you. So what happens in your body when you take in a bigger sense of space, tighter or freer? Freer. Anybody else?
And breathe better.
Breathe better. Great. So that's also a sign of freedom. Okay, so now the trick is bringing these two together, because if you're playing a tricky passage, then that's a very different stimulus than just kind of spacing out like this. Although I do recommend spacing out like this. It's an excellent meditation, great way to relax when you're not doing anything. But what I'm offering here isn't a relaxation technique. What I'm offering here is changing how you relate to the critical moment. And to me, this is much more valuable. So, needle and thread. And this time, simply include the space around you. You don't have to shut it out. There's space between your face and your fingers. There's space between the needle and thread. There's space inside that needle hole. And that space inside the needle hole is continuous with the space that's all around you, above you, behind you, to either side. So see if you can thread that needle without losing that larger sense of space. You're going to have to remind yourself a bunch of times. Big space, big space, big space. Okay, so what do you notice?
My head wants to move forward to see what I'm doing
Yeah.
because I'm a quilter, so I very much know what you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to actually talk about exactly that habit in just a minute. But you can look at what your hands and you can prevent that your head diving down simply by remembering that there's space behind you. There's space on either side. What does anybody else notice?
The task was easier. Like I didn't feel I was worrying about
Mm.
being able to get that thread inside the needle. So, I could see better too.
You can see better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't squinting as much. I think it was more like when you said there's space on the other side, I was going for the other side. So it was a more fluid motion.
Yes. Great. Yeah, you can see better, right? Squinting, this whole trying hard habit that we have is such a lie. The lie in trying hard is more effort makes more effectiveness. That's the lie.
What's the difference between effort and focus then?
Um, Great question.
We can let it marinate.
Yes, well, I guess what I'm calling effort here is unnecessary effort, and focus is a spectrum from hyper focus to very much spacious kind of focus. So you can have a tunnel vision focus, or you can have open focus, or spacious awareness, and the kind of tightening that I'm talking about in your focus happens when you have your attention on something and you've completely blocked out your peripheral awareness. And that's what tunnel vision is, and that's where the tightness comes from. It comes from trying to block all of that out. And that can work in very limited ways. And this is why we becomes a habit, because our whole culture works this way, focusing on the tree, not the forest. And it works sometimes, and everybody else around us is doing this, so we do it. But it really is so much less effective, because it's introducing all this interference in your body. All this tension that you're feeling is just interference. It's just gunk in the hose. Or like putting rubber bands on your fingers while trying to play. Like it's just not going to work. It works sort of, but wow, it gets so much better when you take those rubber bands off. And squinting is another one of those habits, just like that. Like, does squinting really help you see better? If you're driving down the highway at 60 miles an hour, you go like this. Does that really help you see that sign that's a quarter mile down the road? Right? So there's this lie in the middle of, or at the center of trying hard. And the way that you can, or let's see, one of the most important things to see, letting go of that trying hard habit, is seeing countless times, like experiencing firsthand that things actually get better when you're freer. And there can be this moment of discombobulation once you're, and we'll do this momentarily. Once you're like actually at your instrument and you're doing something freer, it can be like, ugh, where do my hands go? What do I do with this? That's fine. That happens, and that's just your body like learning to re-coordinate itself. So you just give it some time, and it will happen, and then your playing will just feel freer overall. Okay, so that's the open focus. Highly effective. I got some of this from a book called Open Focus by this guy named Les Fehmi, Lesfehmi. He has a whole method around open focus, just in case you're interested in going deeper there. And I also have some YouTube videos about this on my own channel. Okay, so that's one part of this, not pulling the reins on your coordination, and I'll talk about exactly what I mean with that analogy here. So when you're riding a horse, the horse is much bigger than you. How do you direct the motion of the horse? Well, you have these reins, right? And if you want to stop the horse, what do? You pull on the reins, and then the horse's head goes this way, goes back and down like this, right? And why don't you just try that right now on yourself? Move your head back and down, and just notice what happens to the rest of your body. I bet you can even hear the change in my voice. It's a little compressed. And then stop doing that to yourself. You can hear the change in my voice, right? It's a very different quality in my voice. So what do you notice when your head goes back and down? What happens to the rest of your body?
Lapses.
Yes, exactly. And then when your head, let's say, goes forward and up, or at least just releases that, what do you notice instead?
Tension in the neck, in the back of the neck.
There's some tension in your neck. What about when you let go of pulling your head back and down? When you release that.
That tension goes away. The feeling of holding
Right.
hurts more than just
Yes,
sitting a
that's
little
right.
forward.
That's right. Okay. So now every time you focus, you over focus, what's happening in your head and neck?
It's locked.
Tense it.
Yeah, you're tensing, right? And look, like this, that squinting and over focusing, it's a miniature version of that. Head back and down. Now your head's kind of moving forward in space, but in relationship to your spine, it's going back and down. All right? And that's you pulling on the reins of your own head, neck, and back. Okay, so now here's another sort of experience of that. So put your hands up in the air, like you just don't care, and wiggle your fingers. Okay, just notice what that feels like, and then put your head back and down again. Wiggle your fingers. Okay, does that feel any different? What do you notice? Or try this. So just sort of hold your hands up normally, and then squint really hard. And then notice what happens in your arms and hands. And then let go of the squinting. What happens in your arms and hands?
Freer.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel that connection between that squinting and what's happening in your head and what then happens in your hands? Give me a couple yeses. Yeah.
It's harder to move the fingers when
Harder
we're
to move your
squinting.
fingers. That's right. That's right. So imagine.
So
Go ahead, Tom.
let's say I I knew about the fingers that would happen, but I felt tension in my forearm. And it's amazing that your neck has that connection to the forearm, that the forearm tenses up.
Yeah. Well, that old song is true. Neck bone's connected to the wrist bone. Right? And, you can see in my image background here, this little device right above my finger. It's a tensegrity device. I don't have mine with me today, but it's like a web of these little dowels and elastic bits. Maybe in the next one I'll bring it online and I'll show it to you. And it's meant to show how your body is a web. Everything in your body is connected with everything else at this level of fascia and muscle and bone. All right, and so what happens with your head and neck directly impacts everything else in your body. So when you're squinting at the notes on the page, you're not actually going to play those notes any better, are you? When you're really focusing on your hands or the conductor or whatever else you're doing, all that's just going to get in the way. All right. One more experiment. So we're going to take your thumbs and put them underneath your occiput, which is the base of your skull, and just kind of dig in there a little bit so you can kind of sense the muscles underneath your skull. And then I want you to squint your eyes again and notice what happens by your thumbs, those muscles there, and then unsquint, and then squint, and notice what happens in the back of your skull, and then unsquint. Even if you just move your eyeballs around, you'll feel the muscles back there, those little muscles right at the top of your spine, they'll change in tonus. Feel little tiny movements back there. What do you notice?
Or you can't dig in as much because it's not flexible anymore. It's very tight. When you squint.
Yes, right. Yes.
The neck, I could feel it, the neck, like racing there.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Anybody else? Okay. Anybody lost?
No, it just didn't work as well as the other ones did.
Okay, no problem. That's why we do lots of different experiments. Okay, so then here's how to actually put this all into practice. So what I recommend is when you're in the practice room, you do a little experiment with yourself, and we're going to do this all together, or at least like one-on-one in just a minute. So what you do is you set a baseline, you play through the passage as you normally do, and you rate your tension levels on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being no tension at all, 10 being you're like a brick. And that's your baseline. And then what you do is you play through the passage with maybe this open focus, or maybe with simply refraining from diving your head down right before you do the hard thing. Because that's the typical habit that people do. Right before you do the hard thing, you're kind of bracing and diving your head down. All right? So you can do a pause right before the critical moments in the passage, and in that pause, you simply refrain from diving your head down. Maybe you soften your eyes. Maybe you have a bigger sense of focus, bigger sense of space, and then you continue.
This is when you're not practicing with the metronome, right?
This is when you're not practicing with the metronome. Yeah, metronome practice is a different thing. We could talk about that, and how to work with all of this when timing matters. But for now, it's really very wise to take nice long pauses so that your body can re-coordinate itself in those moments, because this whole thing is a habit of like how you're trying to coordinate the movements of playing this passage. And right now your habit includes all this tension. That's how you're coordinating the movements. And what you want to do is to be able to play the thing without all that tension. Okay, so you need a different coordination. Where are you going to find that different coordination? Good news is you don't have to know it. You don't have to know how to direct your body. Your body already knows. You just have to provide some space and stop trying so hard, and your body will do it. It'll feel a lot freer and it'll move better. Okay. And then, so then what you do then at that point is you rate your tension again. Okay, did it go from an 8 down to a 5? Great. And then you keep moving that down until you get to like a 2 or a 3 or a 1 or, low enough. And then that's what counts as success in practicing. It's not just, did I get the notes right? It's, can I play the notes effortlessly? All right, and this is how you also train your students how not to learn their tension. Because every time you practice with tension, you're learning your tension. All right, so who would like to do this together? I'll just walk you through this exact process of something that you're working
I'll
on.
volunteer if no one else wants to do it.
Great, Jennifer. Great. So,
All right.
you have your instrument.
I got to take you inside now. Okay. Helen, this is a passage from The Barber. I screwed up
Yes.
again last night.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
I know, and I did it. I mean, I practiced it well, and it still did not go well in the concert last night.
Yeah, because it feels when we get in the moment, it feels like a panic for me too. If I don't start well, then I kind of, but I practice ahead of time this time, so I would not freak out and panic. My body tense up every single time, and I try to just stay just grounded, play ergonomically, and not push because it's easy to go like this
Yes, exactly.
in the moment, but it's a really hard passage, and every time I get there, I get sometimes also I trip.
Yes, yes. That's exactly what happens.
I tripped every time, even in all the rehearsals. But then at home, I practiced in between. So it was really kind of baffling to me.
Yeah, I did all the rhythms and everything slowly, and
Yeah.
it's with Hadlick, and he's not taking it too fast, so which is great. We've played with people that play much faster. So it's a good tempo, but still.
All right. So once you play like 15 seconds of this, just the trickiest part.
Okay. I'm finding it just a minute. Okay, here it is. Okay. Of course, I'll get to the very trickiest part. But that's the problem. Okay.
All right. So then you get to play through that and just play it in your normal way.
And we might need her screen to be full.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, because you could move your phone into landscape orientation if possible.
Like that?
Yes, except now you're sideways.
Oh, okay, just that.
Okay, well, you just leave it as was. That's fine. We'll make do. Okay, so yeah, why don't you play your passage, and if you can stand in a way where we can see you on the screen, that would be ideal. Oh, Jennifer?
Good?
Okay, that's
Really
better.
unwarmed up. So, it's not like I would actually dive right in, but maybe I'll play under tempo?
Um,
Or should I try to play it?
yeah, just actually try to play it. But we're not going for perfection here. We're going for an opportunity to work with your habits of tension. Uh-oh, it froze. Jennifer, unfortunately, we could only hear one or two notes because the internet keeps freezing.
Oh, let me go in a different part of the house.
I hear that's a limitation with Zoom sometimes with music.
Yes, it's not ideal.
Oh dear.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. We could hear every note that time. So, okay. So, why don't you rate your tension levels on a scale of 0 to 10?
That was probably an 8.
An
I,
8.
I think there was a lot of room for improvement, but it wasn't as the tightest I've ever been.
Okay.
So
Okay.
maybe 7.
Okay. 7. Great. So now, what we'll do is kind of map out your critical moments. So, are there particular moments when you're playing this when you get tighter than you'd like to?
Yes.
Okay. So, can you name some of those moments?
The fifth measure.
Fifth measure.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
And then if I don't make it past the fourth measure, then I can't get back on until like 4, 5, 6. I get back on around the sixth, seventh measure,
Okay. All
and
right.
sometimes not until like even later. Like the last 2 measures I can play.
Okay.
So it's really the middle section.
Okay. Great. So we're gonna why don't you pick like a note that's gonna count as like the spot where you get the tightest. Hold on, but don't play yet.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of
Okay.
what that note would be. Okay, I got it.
Okay. Good. And I would also suggest you do this right before you start playing, because what I saw was as soon as you brought your violin up, it was this already.
Just now or before?
Just now.
Okay.
Well, I mean, not just now, but when you're actually playing the passage.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So that it's like the idea of the passage. It's like how you're getting ready. It's already calling on your trying hard habit. All right. So let's try this with open focus first. So before you put your violin up, we're gonna do this in 3 stages. So like violin up, bow on the string, and then you play the first note. And with each of those, we're gonna do a pause beforehand, and you're gonna notice the space around you. All right. So before you put your violin up, pause, noticing the space around you, and then you can bring your instrument up while continuing to notice that space. All right. So you can go ahead and do that now. Bring up your violin. Big sense of space. Before you bring up your bow, pausing. Big sense of space as you bring up your bow. And then before you play that first note, you're going to pause and notice that space. And then right before you get to that extra tricky part in the fifth measure, you're also going to pause.
Stop.
Yeah, so whenever you're ready, big sense of space. Excellent. What do you notice?
I noticed that I'm frowning a few times.
Yeah. Yeah, what's going on with that?
It's like I'm afraid.
Yes.
That's when I start to, when I was afraid, I felt my face do some kind of like something with my mouth.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So, did those happen at particular moments? Did that feel familiar at particular moments in the piece?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So these are other critical moments for you. Then.
Yeah.
Right. And the only reason that you're going to feel afraid in those moments is if there's some part of you that's still a bit uncertain about how you're going to do them.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
How you're going to coordinate those movements. Imagine entering a darkened room. You know, there's furniture in there, stuff you could stub your toe on, and if you decide that you have to run through that room, you're probably going to feel afraid, right? So then, how do you get through a darkened room? Well, you walk through it, you sense where everything is. You know, you map it out really, really clearly in your mind, even though you can't see anything. You go through it again and again, going through it lots of different ways, trying to be relaxed as you're going through it. Then, when it is time to go through it quickly, then you know exactly where to go. And so, by can, say, if you don't pause on these other critical moments, then it's like you're always rushing through a particular part of that darkened room, and you never give your nervous system a chance to settle down. All right, so do you know where these other moments are where you started to frown? Oh, yeah.
When the pattern changes.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and I know
So,
where I'm home free. Like,
okay. Yes. I
so
understand.
it's just sort of like,
Yes.
even though I've practiced it, I don't know it so well. I don't know it
Yes.
well. There's places that
Yes.
I don't know as well.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Great. We're going to do this in just a second. I see Sarah. You keep raising your arm.
I feel like what you're saying is the preface to what I hear my teacher remind me often is, well, just practice it slower. Like
Oh,
how
yes.
how slow is slow enough
Yes.
to feel comfortably
Yes.
feeling around that dark room.
Yes. Okay. So slow practice is wise, but it's not. This is not like a across the board recommendation for me. The purpose of playing slowly isn't so much just to because it's the right thing to do, and so you know where your fingers go, but it's like how you can get through different parts of the passage in a way that actually works for your nervous system,
Yeah.
in a way that helps your nervous system feel calm during the hard thing.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
That's
what's hard to practice.
yeah. Well, it's actually very easy to practice. You just need to pause right before you do all those parts. So
Can I
if
add
you
one thing to this?
yeah,
So
sure,
when
sure.
I tell my students, or when I practice slow, the slow practice is the awareness,
Mm-hmm.
how you do everything, and really slow, and
Yes.
make sure that you play ergonomically and
Mm-hmm.
pressing, you're not pressing with a thumb, and just being
Yes.
aware of everything, and then you build up, and then as you go faster, never start adding any kind of
Yes.
new tension. So
Yes. Yes. There's a lot I could say about that. Maybe we'll get to that more in a minute. So why don't you go ahead and Jennifer and play that again and put in more pauses where you notice the space around you.
Okay. I noticed my face. I went through the place that I knew that I could play, but my face still made this sort of like,
Yeah. So the body doesn't lie.
yeah. But I mean, it was a place that typically I can get through, but it's still not comfortable.
Yeah. Well, you got to listen to that then. Still a party that feels uncomfortable getting through that.
Ugh, see, I did it. I mean, it's weird. I mean, I played it, but my face did the thing. So I
Yes.
don't know how to stop my face from doing the
Yeah.
thing.
Well, you have to pause before you get to the frowny parts.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I released that time.
Good.
Yeah. I had to practice releasing though.
Yes, yes. Ease is a skill, okay? And you've practiced violin many times over your life, and the thing is, you've also practiced your tension alongside that,
Yeah.
right? And so, right now, the invitation from me to you is to teach your body how to play with ease. You really have to teach it, like retraining, and it is a skill. And what I teach is like over 20 of these what I call mind body skills, just like this, these effortlessness skills. And once you have a whole uh, toolbox of them, then you can apply it to any situation. So you always feel at ease. All right. So does this give you something to work with?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. You're welcome. So would anybody else like a chance here to
Come on, Madeline.
experience this?
Sarah, come on.
I haven't touched my violin since March.
I see.
So my question in my head is like the example that you first went through, how does that translate to just your initial setup and like doing a scale?
Mhm. Yeah. Well,
Or
it's
is
very
it
simple.
like,
Yeah, it's very simple. So, it all comes down to the critical moments. See, tension is a when problem, not a where problem. You feel tension in your shoulders, but the shoulders are not a problem. It's that you got tense when doing this specific thing at this specific time, and and you didn't realize that it was happening. All right, so all you
so
have to do is map out your critical moments, and then do this pause. Maybe notice the space. Maybe think of refraining from diving your head down, or whatever it is. There are lots of different things you can do and undo in those moments. And as you do that, then those moments when you normally get tight will be free.
one of my challenges is that my undergraduate degree from a lifetime ago is in kinesiology.
Mm-hmm.
So you started talking about the tension and the head and the neck,
Yes.
but I'm already thinking about, well, what about the feet up
Mm-hmm.
and how much collapsing in your chest leads to head forward as well? So
Sure.
so that's
Mm-hmm.
why I'm backtracking to like,
Yeah.
wait a second, how do I make sure that my even setup is tension free? But you're
Yeah.
saying it's not a where, it's a when.
It's a when.
Can you help me understand that better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All these things. Okay. So if you're thinking from your feet up, that's a perfectly fine way of thinking about it. Except that if you're not dealing with when you're getting tense, then anything that you do in your body to compensate for the tension in your feet or whatever is just layers of compensations.
Right.
And this is the whole thing about posture. Like, stop trying to have good posture, please, because all you're doing is
Wait, what?
you have a tightness that's pulling you down, right? And this is what we call a slump. This is a tightness that you're not aware of. You can't feel it because you're doing it. You've been doing it your whole life. And then when you try to have good posture, you're pulling up on yourself. Even if you have like sophisticated ideas from yoga or whatever of alignment, this is all just fancy ways of manipulating your body that actually end up making you less free. Freedom, look at how little babies move, like a toddler, perfectly upright. They don't have any ideas of what posture is supposed to be, and they are perfectly free. You still have this in you. And all these ideas of what posture is, what it's supposed to be, sitting up straight, it's all downstream. It's all compensations, band-aids for something that's happening underneath that you're not aware of. This tightening that you're not aware of, this original kind of tightening. And you can do all kinds of fancy things to compensate for that, but it's all just compensations. And if you want to get to the root, if you really want to be free, then you have to focus on when you're getting tight. Because if you're getting tight when you put up your violin, then and you don't realize it, okay, then you're playing all these notes and you're trying to relax yourself, but you have that original tightness that's happening that happened like a minute ago, and you've just held on to that the whole time. But because you're not aware of it, then you're trying like, oh, I need to relax this, I need to have this kind of posture. You're just compensating. You're dealing with the symptoms rather than the original thing. The original thing is this. Okay, I'm about to put up my violin. Pause. Oh yeah, there's space around me, and then I can move my violin up easily. What do you think of any of that?
A lot to digest.
Yes. I get that it's counterintuitive. The proof is in the pudding. The very simple question: do you get tighter or freer? If you put on good posture and you get tighter, well, you should stop doing that.
Well, but sometimes the postural change, like just the arms up, neck thing, it's like, well, when you tilt your chin back down, it's like, oh, the sorry for the yoga vocabulary, but the prana feels like it's
Yeah,
flowing.
absolutely. Okay, great. Right. So I'm not saying that where your body parts are in relation to each other doesn't matter. It does matter, but also your quality of movement matters. how you get there matters. If you have this habit, you're going around your life stuck with your head back and down, and then you think, oh, I need to tuck my chin, then you have two problems instead of just one. This is what I'm talking about. All right, so food for thought there. Let's have some more playing. Mary Lynn or Tom. I've worked with Tom before. Mary Lynn, well, why don't you go?
What do I play?
Oh, something where you normally get tight.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I would have loved to do the same excerpt, but I don't have it in front of me. Normally when I get tight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fast things, but I don't know what I'm not. I don't know what I would play. I was not planning that, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a do you have a music there that like a the concerto or anything?
No, I don't. Yeah. It's on my iPad, and I'm using the iPad for. Yeah, I think
Ah,
Sarah wants to play. She's got
Okay.
her violin out.
All right.
You're muted.
I need to tune.
Okay.
I didn't even bother tuning.
So I have a question,
Yes.
Joseph. So
Yes.
I feel that a lot of the tension that we feel in our body comes from our mind. Like if
Yes.
I know I have something to practice and it's really hard, like I'm already
Yes. Yes.
starting to freak out in my mind. And it used to not be like this, but as I get older, I feel it's happening more and more. And usually, if we have like 4 or 5 programs to prepare,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
where I feel like my the mind is really stressed and
Yes.
my body like. So are you able, I mean, I'm sure you can help us with that, but I would love to know your suggestions of things to do. I'm trying to like incorporate more, like try to get more balance, like
Mm-hmm.
meditation, relaxation,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
whatever. But I would love to know your insight about this.
Well, have you tried a stiff martini?
Yeah, and then you wake up with a headache. No.
Yeah, I guess there's no free lunch then. Um, yes, absolutely. The way that you think absolutely has an impact on how you move.
Yes.
And if you are concerned about this or that performance, well then, yeah, they'll probably show up as tension. And I mean, this might be uh, an opportunity for another conversation where we can get deeper into the specifics. But I'd say even the thought of something can be a critical moment. So next time when that thought comes up of this performance that's coming up, and all the music you need to learn for it, you notice that anxiety in your gut. That's when you pause and just notice the space around you. You don't have to try to make it go away because that's not going to help. It's just suppression. It only creates more tension. But you just have some space around that anxiety, that anticipation, that image that you have in your mind of all the music you need to learn and things going wrong. You don't have to get rid of it at all. You just pause, and some part of it will relax of its own accord. And you realize, oh, I don't have to like feed the story.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot more we could talk about there, but that's one approach. All right, Sarah.
I'm already getting stuck when it comes to, okay, bringing my chin down to the chin rest kind of
Yes.
thing, right? Like I've played with so many different heights, positions, blah, 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 believing that I just need to find the right place.
Yes.
So, or experimenting without a shoulder rest at all.
Yes.
So there's this apprehension before I even decide how to move
Mm-hmm.
my, just, yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Great. So that's a very common story, right? Trying all the different shoulder rests. Um, and so my advice around setup is that the way that you stand or sit when you play should look no different than if you don't have your instrument up.
Wait, does that mean put it down for a minute?
No, I'll show you. Oh, I guess I have to turn off my background here. so you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so I don't know about you, but the way I was taught to hold the violin was like this, clamping the instrument between the chin and the shoulder. Okay, so what happens in your neck when you clamp the violin between your chin and your shoulder? You get really tense, right? Right? And so, are you going to walk around your life like this? Is that going to feel good? Is that going to be functional? Probably not. Right? So, why are you doing it with violin? So, ostensibly, we clamp the violin so that your left hand can be free. But that's the only reason you could believe that is if you completely ignore the fact that what's happening with your head and your shoulder is connected to your hand and your arm. Yes, there are times when, like, if you are shifting down or you're doing some kind of movement, and if you're holding the violin very lightly, you shift down, then the violin could fall. So there are some times when you need a little bit of holding, but then you let go. And so the way that you sit here, or you stand with the violin, without the violin, no different. No clamping. And if the violin doesn't sit right there for you, then you need to change your setup somehow. I have the Bon Musica on here, very tall, because I really don't like clamping at all. So the violin fills that entire space. I can have my relaxed shoulder, my relaxed head and neck, and it fills that whole space without me having to do anything. Does that make sense?
Meaning literally you're not decreasing that angle at all.
Yeah, the way you do it is you simply turn your head.
Rotation and not flexion, because I overthink like that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good to have words for all of that. And it's not necessarily rotation versus flexion. Is it doing it this way, getting you tighter, or is it getting you freer? That's like the golden question right there. Tighter or freer? All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to make this really simple. So put your violin, just rest position for just a second.
Okay.
This is something we can all do together. So we're going to do 3 pauses. One before you bring up your violin, one before you put your bow on the string, and one before you play some notes. All right, good. So rest position. Why don't you get your bow, Mary Lynn, as well? Okay, so pausing before you put your violin up. So wait, let's do rest position, Jennifer. So pausing before you put your violin up, noticing the space around you, and as you put your violin up, you're going to do something very important. You're going to refrain from diving your head down. So as you bring your violin up, refrain from diving your head down. Just find out where your violin sits without any of that head diving. Okay. Great, and then as you bring your bow up, pause before you bring up your bow, pausing, and then you're going to refrain from diving your head down as you put your bow on the string. All right, and then before you play your first notes, you're going to pause, and you refrain from diving your head down before you play a couple notes. Okay, so now let's do the opposite. We're going to run an experiment. So rest position again, and this time, as you bring up your violin, you're going to dive your head down. All right, and then as you bring up your bow, you're going to dive your head down again. And then as you play that first note, go, dive your head down. All right, just noticing that contrast. Okay, then coming back to rest position. So one more time this way. So refraining from diving your head as you bring up your violin. Refraining from diving your head as you put your bow on the string. Refraining from diving your head as you play those notes. Does anybody notice?
I could not move my fingers as free when I clenched down.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
My sound was richer.
I was gonna say it's fine because I'm not actually trying to play a song.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yet. Yet.
okay. Yeah, well, the yeah, you
Like
try
it's
to make it real.
accomplishable here. Now,
Yes.
like just
Yes.
right.
Well, how about you actually play something then? I'll walk you through that. It's just a simple melody. It could be Twinkle Twinkle. There's no judgment here. This is just about making it real. Okay, so let's go through that whole sequence. So the rest position. No, I can't hear you, Sarah.
Yeah, I know. That's because I didn't want to say it actually out loud,
Okay,
like not
okay.
playing for 3 months, and this is my first
Yeah,
day back, and it's a
this
little
is
unnerving.
it's
I'm
yeah.
supposed to.
Okay, yeah, it's fine. We all we're not going to judge you. Okay, so rest position. Let's do these pauses together. Can you do rest position again?
Oh,
Thank you. So, pausing before you bring up your violin, refraining from diving your head down. Okay. And then before your bow comes up, refraining from diving your head down. And then as you play the beginning of whatever simple tune you're going to play, just to make it real for yourself, that's why we're going to ask you to play something real tune. So before, like refraining from diving your head down as you play. Go for it.
no, I just. Mm, now okay. Twinkle, twinkle. Whatever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, let's pause here. So we actually can't hear any of the notes you're playing because you don't have original sound on. But maybe that's
Oh,
best for you. I mean, I'd love to be able to hear, but maybe that's comfort for you. Um, but what do you notice so far?
original sound
Yeah, you can turn off original sound in the audio settings.
in the audio settings. My
Hmm.
apologies.
That's quite all right. A little gotcha for all musicians. Zoom considers music to be merely sound.
Audio settings. Noise removal.
Yeah,
Original.
you could turn off. Yeah, yeah, original sound. Okay. Refraining from diving your head down as you play whatever it is.
What? Just mind blank. Yeah, I don't remember anything.
Yes. And when you're not remembering what's happening with your head, is it diving down or is it floating?
Last, last. One moment.
Yeah, no. So this is perfect. This is perfect. So even the pros forget how tunes go. And what we're looking at here is not can you play something perfectly after not playing for 3 months. That's not what we're looking at. What we're looking at is how do you respond to these moments of challenge?
By
Do you res-
flushing.
by blushing?
Flushing. Flush. Like
What?
full flush.
Flushing?
Heat.
Yes. Okay. That's a
I would
normal
like to melt into a
physiological.
puddle on the floor.
Say that again, please.
I would like to melt onto a puddle on the floor.
Oh yes,
Okay.
I understand. I think I can speak for all of us that we feel a lot of support and gratitude for you for being vulnerable here.
Should I try some music maybe?
Sure.
Wow, my brain is freezing.
Yes, that's normal.
Like totally freezing. And if I don't even know how to manage this space because this is here and that's there and
Okay, so as you're going to play that, you're going to refrain from diving your head down. Just see what happens. Okay, good. That's plenty. That's plenty. What do you notice? What do you notice about your head?
I was too focused on playing the right note to think about my head.
Exactly. There
Exactly.
you go. That's over focusing. That's exactly the habit. This is totally normal, especially when you feel a lot of pressure in yourself. You know, really focus on those notes. But what happens in your body? Maybe you can just take a guess. What's happening in your body when you over focus on the notes like that?
Everything collapses in.
Yeah, you get tight like that. Exactly, exactly. All right, so knowing that um, how you move your body is the only way that you make sounds on the violin, maybe it would make sense to share a little bit of your awareness with your body. Does that make sense?
Part of me feels like it's just another thing to put on the to-do list when you're
Yeah.
trying to make.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's very common. And so
So how do
that happens when your primary way of paying attention is like this. And so you have the notes over here, and then the body over here. And so what I'm suggesting is instead you can keep your focus on the notes, but you just go like this with your awareness. Just remember that there's space around you.
like the quarterback who has to take in the whole field?
That's right. That's exactly right. All right, so get your violin up and get ready to play that first note, but don't play it yet. Look at that page, and as you look at your fingers, look at the page. Is there still space behind you?
As far as I know.
Yeah, well, you can't see it, but you can infer that it's there, right? There's space above you, there's space on either side. Just play like 3 notes, keeping that sense of space. Okay, great. So were you able to notice the space around you even a little bit?
A little bit.
Great. So just do those 3 notes again, just noticing that space around you. Very simple. Ooh, that sounded better. Your sound quality was actually a little clearer on those first couple notes. So were you able to notice the space around you?
Yeah.
Good. What happened in your body? Did you get tighter or freer?
Between the second and the third attempt, more at ease, but generally speaking, still, yeah,
Still pretty tight. Yeah.
a little wound up.
Okay. Well, let's try a different method. Why don't you just use 2% less effort? Just play those same 3 notes.
Did you say 2?
2%.
Okay.
2% less effort. We're not going for broke here. Just very manageable. 2% less effort. Just those same 3 notes. Ooh, that looked very different. What do you notice?
I'm making an effort to relax through the movement. That sounded so weird.
Yes, an effort to relax. Okay, and so did you actually get freer?
I think so.
It looked that way to me. So why don't you just try it a couple times? Just think 2% less effort, the same 3 notes. Okay, try again, 2% less effort. Ooh, that was even freer.
Sometimes when I'm thinking about other things, I forget to breathe.
Yeah, well, just 2% less effort.
and trying really hard to not worry about what it actually sounds like.
Yeah, well, so what's happening here is that you've gotten so used to playing with tension that now that you're playing with more ease, and you are playing with more ease, I've seen it at least the past couple times, your body doesn't know where your violin is in space as well. All right, so you slow it down even more. You can look at your strings and do that 2% less effort and just notice where your bow goes. Don't try to control it. Just notice where your bow goes. Just 2% less effort. Watch your bow. Watch your bow. There you go. Okay. So that time you got all three notes clearly, and you really had to slow down, right? Yeah. And that slowing down is so important because that's what gives your nervous system enough time to coordinate the movement properly with ease and accuracy, right? And so what practicing could look like is exactly this. Letting go of any, trying to get the whole piece. Letting go of trying to get a whole measure. Just retraining your body. Can I play these three notes accurately and with ease? And if you can do that once per day, makes sense?
Lucia.
Can you work with that?
Lucia. Yes.
The sound is a little bit low right now, so I couldn't quite hear. Okay, good. All right, so we're coming up on the end of our time here. Any final takeaways? I have a few words to say after this, but I'd love to know what's coming up for you. What was this like for you? Any insights, questions, mortal fears?
Uh,
Yeah, Tom.
well, you and I have been through this many times before, and there's a danger, which is everything makes sense, but it seems so simple. And then tomorrow or later today, when I go to practice a trippy passage, I right away want to work on my technique or getting it right. You forget. So you have to, I don't know what the right word is, schedule or make sure that just as important as practicing the notes of the piece that you're working on is take
Yes.
a pause. Even the whole thing is so simple of putting the fiddle up. You've shown me that several times, and again today, and I still forget to do it.
Yes.
I haven't made it a habit because I'm so eager to get to playing the music. And
Yes.
so I'm just warning people that this all seems so obvious because it's simple, but it's not simple to remember to do it because other things intrude into your practice routine.
Yes. And to me, this is about redefining what getting to the notes means. Because I want you to get to those notes. That's where the juice is. That's where the fun is, right? And it's just not defining it. The problem that so many of us get into is defining that so narrowly as, okay, I've gotten the notes right at the expense of everything else. Doesn't matter. I played the notes. I got that sequence. But that's not real music, or at least not everything that music can be. Music isn't just a series of notes. It's something that's alive. And for me, like real mastery, what I call Soulforce mastery, involves three different components. One is the technique, the notes, and all that. You need this to give form to what you're doing. The second is effortlessness. Can you really say that you've mastered something unless it's effortless? And so many times, what we think are technique problems are actually tension problems that masquerade as technique problems. I've seen this countless times where you just let go, get my students to let go, and all of a sudden all their technique problems go away. All right? So you need that effortlessness. The third piece is the knowledge of the soul. So what you have inside you that wants to be expressed. And with greater ease, it can just pour through you. So they're all connected. They're all connected. There's a lot more I can say about this. I have a whole section of this in my book. But this is a more holistic definition of what it means to get it right. Did you get the notes? Was it at ease? Did it have real heart and soul? So maybe that's one thing you can take into your practicing, expanding the definition of what it means to get it right. And another thing is you can't necessarily do this alone. These habits are deeply ingrained, and it's hard to remind yourself on your own. It can be done, but it's hard. And so one of the reasons I offer these labs is for that. I'm also starting a group program where we can learn together and we can remind ourselves together. So that'll be happening this summer. And I'll say a little bit more about that in a minute. But that's also a really important part, like having a community that helps remind you. Okay. So any other takeaways? Yeah, Marilyn.
Well, thank you. And I think it's a great reminder. I think it's, I tell my students all the time, practice calmly, make sure you're aware of what you're doing. And
Yes.
it's easy for me. I always say it's easy for me to tell you this. Sometimes I could cut myself also, panicking, practicing in a
Yes.
panic. And when I
Yes.
practice calmly and I give it myself enough time, awareness, and I go through all the steps, I feel so much better. And that tension in my head is more diminished, and it really helps me get through everything.
Yes.
So it's a good reminder. I have to remind, and I like your idea of the space. I love that because yeah, it's true. When you go like this, you're more in a panic also. Even in orchestra, like I
Yes.
need to just feel very open and never feel like
Yes.
crunched down like this, and it helps me with the playing and feeling relaxed and not overdoing everything. I think sometimes the expectations are really high.
Mm.
We want to do like sometimes the
Mm.
music is intense. We want to put so much, but actually, if you do it more open
Yes.
and not
Yes.
tensing up, you actually can get as much sound and sometimes a lot more sound. So I
Yeah.
try to remind myself it's really hard it's not just, music, but it's also everything that we go through in our lives. And it's easy to, anyway, so that's a great reminder. And I thank you for that.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, that's great. Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, so I have a friend who teaches Alexander technique. A lot of what you said is coming from that,
Hmm.
correct?
Yes.
I mean, well, she's a violinist, an amateur violinist, and we decided to do an exchange. I would teach her, and she would teach me.
Oh, nice. Good
And
idea.
we haven't really followed through yet because she had an injury. So I had one lesson, and so I think I'll follow up with that. And I'd love to participate in some of your other Zoom workshops.
Yeah, totally.
Every third Saturday, did
Every
you say?
third Saturday? Yep. Yeah,
On progression,
sure.
as my sports psychology professor would say, how much is much enough? Like, I feel like what I started with those three notes is like
Mm.
someone who has to relearn how to walk after an
Hmm.
injury, like
Yeah.
a relearning of this movement pattern. So I can envision a practice where I pick up and do the scales and the exercise and the song after having worked on those three notes. But is that really the best approach? Is it just learn with, approach the learn with ease until you feel comfortable enough to do more? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
does that make sense?
Uh, you know, this practice is very forgiving. So if you want to do it any one way that calls to you, it'll probably work. Even if it's a homeopathic approach where you play just at ease with three notes only, and the rest of your time you're doing something else. Even just doing that will begin to make a difference. Your tolerance for tightening yourself will decrease. You'll just notice, oh, this feels bad. Let me try something new. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all so much. So we're going to do a raffle for my book in just a second, and like I mentioned before, yes, the musicians tension reset lab happens monthly, every third Saturday. This will always be free. You're welcome to come back as many times as you'd like. And I'm also starting a new program called the Perform Without Pain group program, and Let's see if I can get my little description here. Oh yeah, it's a guided program for musicians with pain, tension, and injuries who've tried everything but still brace every time they play. It's 8 weeks long. You release the tension that you're experiencing at its root, and most students, in my experience have like a 80 to 90% drop in tension and pain over that period.
Great.
So that's the Perform Without Pain program, and starting that next month, it'll be a group program. There's also some one-on-one um, options with that, and once you go through that, then you can join my Soulforce studio, where we do similar kinds of things, but we also expand, looking at things like discovering your artistic purpose, and um, one of the things that I often say, like one of my taglines is, "Come for the pain relief, stay for the self-discovery." So there's so much that comes up when you learn how to let go. Like everything in your music changes, and so it's a sort of a support system, an ongoing support system for looking at this from 1,000 different angles, and learning from each other in a community, um, and learning how to make the music that you were born here to make. All right, so I'll having a new website up very soon. I'll be sending out some more info on that. I guess you all are on my email list already, so you can keep an eye out for that. All right, so final thing. I know we're a little over time here, so thanks for your patience. I'm gonna guess, or you're gonna guess. I'm gonna pick a number between 1 and 100, and the person who gets closest will get a free copy of my book, and we can just be in touch afterwards. So just put in the chat. What number do you think I'm guessing?
I don't know how to do chat. Message everybody.
Yes.
Oh, did I hit? Nope, I didn't.
All right. Caleb, do you want to vote? All right, going once, going twice. All right, my number was 100.
Yay, I won!
All right,
Aw,
good. Well, congratulations, Jennifer.
thank
And if you all come back another time, there'll be another chance to win. So, Jennifer, I actually don't know if you're on my email list. I think Mary Len is. So, can you put your email address in the chat? And then I'll reach out to you.
the Zoom link from you, though, didn't I?
Oh, or maybe you are on my email list. So put your email address
Okay.
in there anyway, and I'll just follow up with you.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. I think you are. Okay. Excellent.
It's good. The book will be in Pittsburgh, so
Yeah. You
read
think
it.
I'm gonna lend it to you, huh? Interesting.
All right. Well, this has been so much fun. Thank you all for joining. And if you ever have any questions, you can just reach out anytime. I'm very responsive.
Great.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Nice to meet
And
you all.
Yeah.
I'll hang out for another 5 minutes or something. If anybody has any other questions, we can do that. So in other words, I'll see you next time.
Well, I do. If you I have one question.
Sure,
Oh,
please.
Um, do you have any meditation tape or relaxation tape that you like to use?
Oh,
Something very short that I could do before like a practice session
yeah.
or
I actually
maybe
have
performance or
a bunch on my YouTube channel,
okay.
and I upload some every now and then, but I have a bunch on there.
Okay, so I could
So
just type your name and you should have
yeah, it's called at Soulforce Arts.
at Soul.
Soulforce Arts. It might even have a playlist full of guided body meditations on there.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
I need to incorporate that more in every day. That's my goal for next year. I mean,
Good
for
idea.
now, but
All right. Anything else?
Hopefully, I'll join the, and I'll tell a lot of
Okay, great.
friends and students to join in too.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right.
All
Take
right.
care.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.